How should a Christian guy ask a girl out? So I'm going to give you 4 tips on this topic. The first thing you're going to want to do is define what you mean by ask a girl out. So it really depends on if you're coming from a courting mindset or a Christian dating mindset. In one model, the courting model, asking a girl out means you're asking her to be in a serious, intentional dating or courting relationship where you're specifically figuring out if you want to get married or not. And in a Christian dating mindset, ask a girl out could mean a couple different things. It could mean ask her out on a date, like just one date, and you're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Or it could mean that you want to enter into a more serious relationship where you're an official couple. So the first thing you want to do is define what you think is best in this situation, which really brings up point 2. You should let the pre-existing relationship that you have with this girl dictate the way you're going to ask her out. What I mean by that is if you have a close friendship with this girl already, then I think you should lean more towards the courting side and more towards the ask her out to be in a serious relationship type of way. If you don't know the girl that well, I would then lean more towards the ask her out on a date side of things. And if you already know this person really well, you're not going to need those beginning phases of a dating scene where you're just like going on a few dates without any kind of relationship or a committed relationship. You're not going to need that as much, and so you don't want to just go through those steps for no reason. However, if you don't know the girl that well and you're leaning on the courting side and you're having this committed relationship, this very intense define the relationship conversation, and you're talking about marriage and you barely know the girl, odds are you're going to scare her away. So you don't want to jam yourself into one model or the other. Rather, you want to look at the pre-existing relationship that you already have with this girl and then base your approach upon that. Number 3 is about what means of communication is best to use when asking this girl out. So you can talk to her in person, you can talk to her on the phone, you can text, or you could use social media. Now, I don't recommend all of those means of communication, but those are some of the common options that are available to you. So, in my opinion, the best option is to talk to her in person, especially if you're entering into a more serious conversation and you're asking her out to be your girlfriend. Talking on the phone is also a good option when it's not as easy or possible to talk face to face. For example, when I started dating my wife and I asked her out, she was living in North Carolina and I was living in Cleveland, so I had a phone conversation with her when I officially asked her out. Now, what about texting? Texting, in my opinion, is not appropriate unless you're leaning way more on the side of a casual date. I don't think it's a bad option if you don't know the girl that well and you want to present a low commitment offer where you're intentionally trying not to put too much pressure on this conversation, where you want it to be kind of light and you're saying, hey, would you like to go out on a date and just spend some time together, go to a movie or go to dinner, hang out with some friends, whatever it is that you're planning. A text isn't the worst idea because if you don't want to put a lot of pressure on her and you're trying to make it seem like it's a very casual invitation, she might be more likely to accept that than if you have this serious, intense conversation with her. The one that I really don't see a good purpose for is social media. My opinion kind of comes off kind of spammy, kind of weird, so I wouldn't go there. Number 4 is, should you talk to the girl's father or mother or pastor or mentor? Should you talk to other people to ask permission, so to speak, or to, just introduce yourself? Should you do that? And the reason that comes up is because, maybe a decade or two ago when the courting model was really popular, it was pretty much a standard approach that you would talk to the girl's father before even asking her out. So in my opinion, with a more modern Christian dating mindset that most people have right now, that approach might actually be even disrespectful and might seem to undermine the girl's, personal responsibility for her own life. So in my opinion, the best approach in most cases is, again, kind of dependent on if you're going for the more serious mode or the casual mode. If you're entering into a more serious conversation where you're asking her out to be your girlfriend, then I would say ask her first, but then be intentional about introducing yourself to her parents or mentor or pastor if she has a good relationship with those other people in that way. When you do this, you're not asking permission like in the courting model, but it is a sign of respect to introduce yourself to the people that she really cares about and to the people that are invested in her life. Now, if you're just going to ask a girl out on a date, that's when I don't think you need to really worry about introducing yourself to her parents or, the spiritual mentors in her life. If you're going on the more casual route, that might become a little bit awkward and a little bit forced and just a little bit too much too soon. In summary, you want to ask a girl out in the way that is going to be best received in her view. So you have to know the girl a little bit. You can't just, put every single female into the same box and think that they would all receive information in the same way. Well, thanks for watching and God bless.